So if we look at the planet, we could maybe construct a typology where we have on the top here rather sort of wildlands areas with less human impact, but then a succession of increasing human impact all the way down where we have severely degraded habitats. And I think the policy for a more sustainable management of ecosystems in the world will have to be directed. How do we stay away from ending up at the bottom? How do we maintain most of the planet somewhere in between these two? How do we encourage a management of natural resources that will maintain essential functions, ecological structures, functions, and processes to deliver the ecosystem services on which humans are dependent? And we need to put this in a perspective that we need to actually be able to feed another 50% more people until 2050. And this is a tremendous challenge. And I will explain why it is a challenge. And that is that for many areas of the world, we're already at the bottom, where we have rather severe degradation of the soil. And I think this map, where you see the red areas being rather severe, degraded areas, these are the areas where we actually need to be very innovative and think, how can we restore this area to be, again, productive and contribute to production of ecosystem services? I think the most modern definition of restoration is a process of assisting the recovery of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged, or destroyed. So this is a very pragmatic definition that you're not including any specific target, that you're restoring to a certain condition that happened to be at that area 100 years ago or 200 years ago. This pragmatic definition just tells you that you will assist in the recovery process from a very low productive state. And then we looked after literature on the cost of restoration, and again, we didn't have 2,000 studies to start with. There were just a handful that actually provided a cost of restoration. So these are the average. They're quite high numbers, but this is what you would expect in urban areas, particularly when you have to deal with poor soil conditions. But again, then we looked at the benefit-cost ratios, and we put the urban, like in the other figure. And interestingly, it sort of ends up here in the right part of the figure. You have a range from about 2 to 15, but it's comparable to the benefit-cost ratios for forest or woodlands in more rural areas. And again, this will not take into account the cultural values of these. And we have not taken into account the health value. So if we do the health value, this might just spike right up. Restoration in an urban area, given the complexities and the high cost, is still has a range that is substantial. And this should actually be on the table in the urban planning, that when you're deciding what to do, if you have an industrial area, a brownfield area, which you're planning to develop, that could be different options. That you have, of course, you build new housing and you build malls and you build infrastructure, but this could also be part of that planning and actually taking into account the benefits of that restoration. And given that, it could actually be much, much higher than we have indicated here. And also one thing we didn't take into account is sort of the value these ecosystems could have in the urban landscape when it comes to climate change. This is what all cities have to face, how to adapt to climate change, and also the transformation to a future beyond fossil fuel.